Welcome to the state of PA football as PA Football News presents its weekly look at high school football across the state.
Don't wanna sleep in, cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move. I think of you and all the shit you don't do. Well, I'ma make hella sure that I don't become you. I have no regrets, yeah, I'll tie up my chest. I'll never forget what it's like to be in.
Did you know there are 555 total high school football programs in the state? Did you also know there are a total of 58 college programs ranging from D1 to D3 in the state of Pennsylvania? Whether you're a bulldog, a lion, a crusader, an eagle, or a millionaire, we got you covered.
You already know, turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into something that you can never own. So fight and die.
Here at PA Football News, we got you covered. And now, your host, Billy Splain.
Hey everybody, welcome to the State of PA Football. I'm Billy Splain, the owner of PA Football News, and this is the State of PA Football. Tonight we got a kind of a special show. We usually travel or we have a structured show. Tonight we're going to kind of go with like a open forum for some of our staff members here, and we're going to talk about the teams who are pretending and the teams who are contending going into the playoff run. Now we got, 4 games left to play. So this is an important time of the year. So I'm going to go around the horn. I want to introduce everybody. Anthony Franklin is right there. That's Anthony Franklin. And above him is Jared Samuel. Anthony's a D12 guy. Jared's a D2 guy up in the Scranton, Wilkes-Barre area. Right above me here we have Matt, the traveling man Herring. And above him is Shane. Shane's our District 2, District 9, District 10, and he's our District 7 expert as well. Then over here, wait, which way? There we go. Davin Rydell. He's a new guy. He thinks District 4 is where it's at. Okay, we're going to show him tonight. It's not. No, I'm just kidding. Davin does do District 4, but we got him traveling. So he's going to put some miles on him. And up above him, anybody south and east of Harrisburg knows Willie McGonigal. He's down in that area down there. So guys, what's going on? Open forum. What do you want to talk about? Where do you want to go right now?
Open up with the big game, Billy. The big one, the big hype.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Davin and Matt, you guys were both there, man. I mean, Prep LaSalle. Prep's down this year. Yes, no, maybe. Is this the year Prep does not even make it to the state championship? That hasn't happened in, I think, 10 years.
I think you might be right, Billy. I mean, that game, I was there with Matt. I mean, I went down to Philly this weekend. That game, LaSalle came out and came out strong. They were ahead the entire game. They weren't trailing at any point in the game. It seemed like in the second half, St. Joe's might be able to mount a comeback, but LaSalle just was too much for them.
Yeah, I mean, that's Matt. You're pretty good at this. What do you think of St. Joe's? Do they look like the St. Joe's of old, or is this a team that has a chance to have a nice early week off?
So LaSalle definitely controlled both sides of the ball on the line, and I thought that was the key to the game. So Charlie Folk was under a lot of pressure for St. Joe's Prep. He did get off 3 touchdown passes to Jed Harrison. I'm not sure there's a kid in the state that can cover him. But what Prep lacks this year, I think, is some stability on both the offensive and defensive line, and that's where LaSalle really got him. LaSalle didn't run for a ton of yards on the night, but they on offense did pretty much whatever they wanted to. And as much as everybody's down on Prep, that's still a pretty tough schedule, and they're 1 game away from winning the district. So, we'll see what happens here in about 5 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Anthony, you talked about that, how Charlie Folk, last year had a line that could come up and make all the play adjustments and calls and stuff like that. This year they don't, Anthony.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing is Charlie last year as a sophomore, he wasn't asked to, make the calls and a lot. He had a singular offensive line. This year, I believe only 2 starters returned from that line. One of the key guys that left last year is at Syracuse. So you're putting a lot on a junior quarterback to make the signal calls at the line with a younger offensive line. And he's faced a lot of pressure defensively for prep. I've noticed that they're not getting to the quarterback. Alice Haskell, a Penn State commit, defensive lineman, he's had a pretty good year, but no one else around him has stepped up to, get that defensive line rolling. There's still time left, and I just think of last year's LaSalle prep. They lost that first game, and it ignited something in them. So I'm not counting them out, but LaSalle did look good last week, and right now they're odds on favorite to advance.
I just want everybody out there to know, too, out in the audience watching, Anthony is not sitting on a hot plate, and that is not a creeper over his shoulder. He's sitting on the A train in Philadelphia doing our show, getting a ride home from work. And his son is on his lap. So, yeah. Hey, I mean, like, Davin, you've seen LaSalle, and now you've seen Harrisburg.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Go ahead.
So, what was it? 2 weeks? It was either last week. No, it was 2 weeks ago. I said, Billy mentioned at the beginning of the show, I'm a District 4 guy, but I've been now to District 3 this weekend. I'm going to see a little bit of District 11. I'm been also doing District 12 recently. So I'm getting outside my district, as Billy says, big boy football, as he likes to call it. But yeah, I agree with Anthony. I think this year, it hasn't been their year in the past, but I think this year is the year that LaSalle might be able to break through. If there was any year that they were going to do it, it's probably going to be this year. I think their St. Joe's Prep is a year away from being back to their old selves.
I would completely agree with Davin's statement on that, Billy. I saw St. Joe's Prep earlier this year when they played the Marathon. Like Anthony, Matt, and Davin both said, their offensive line, which has been the consistency of their success throughout the whole run of state championship runs, doesn't seem to be there just yet this season. So if there's a season that you guys are going to knock off the Prep, I believe this is the year that it could happen. But
what
that being
about
said,
Harrisburg, though, Davin? You saw Harrisburg play as well this year.
Yeah.
How did they compare to LaSalle, what you saw of Harrisburg?
So Harrisburg is interesting.
Now, I do want to remind you, you saw Harrisburg that did not have Messiah Mickens back.
Yeah.
So just remember that key.
Yeah, you're right. Even without him, though, that team, they started sluggish in the game that I saw, but when they turned it on, they couldn't be stopped. I mean, that team looked about as complete of a team as I've ever seen. I mean, they just played a completely dominant game. They controlled every bit of the clock. They were controlling the clock. They were controlling the line. It just seemed like such a complete team in Harrisburg. I mean, it's at the top of 6A. I mean, it's them, it's LaSalle. I mean, like both teams, they know how to control the clock very, very well. And Harrisburg did it very well.
Central Catholic is a team that we have ranked pretty high. Matt, you saw Central Catholic out in Pittsburgh. Now you've seen the other two teams. Where do they fit in with, or the other three? Where do they fit in with these guys? I know.
Yeah, so I saw LaSalle play PCC early in the season, and PCC is definitely a strong team. At the time, I thought that they were missing the big player. That they had that big pop player, where they can on any play they can score a touchdown. And against a quality opponent like LaSalle, I think it was kind of glaring that they didn't have that big pop player. But it was earlier in the year. Ryan Lehmeyer is going to have his team ready to play. Not a lot of competition other than North Allegheny out west. But that was a good test for them early in the season. They got a monster line. Roman Thompson, at running back he just got a 3-star, so he's getting some looks at that position, and they'll be okay. They're going to come out of the West most likely. They already beat North Allegheny once this year, so and pretty handily.
Yeah, we talked about a couple of weeks ago. We talked about teams and records. So St. Joe's Prep sitting there at 2-4, ahead of Parkland and State College. All right, so we have in our rankings right now in and I'll pull them up here. If you take a look at our rankings right here, you can see we have Harrisburg, LaSalle, Central Catholic, St. Joe's Prep, Parkland, and State College. All right, so we have State College ranked number 6 behind St. Joe's Prep, who lost to LaSalle. LaSalle beat Central Catholic, but we have Harrisburg ranked number 1. Harrisburg and State College went double overtime. Somebody explain to me how our staff came to those rankings and the way we have them ranked. Because I thought about it today and I was like, wait a minute. State College and Harrisburg went toe-to-toe for 2 overtime periods, and we have State College ranked all the way down there at 5th. Why do we not have State College ranked ahead of St. Joe's Prep, who just lost to LaSalle College?
Matt's got the answer.
Yeah, go ahead.
And the answer is because if any of those teams below St. Joe's Prep played their schedule, they would be a 0-win or 1-win team right now.
Absolutely.
So you're
That doesn't
saying
mean
somebody
I
so
agree.
you're saying a Central Catholic and a Sal and a Harrisburg would at least be like in a game with those first
Sure.
4 opponents.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the top 4 and 5 is pretty strong. When you get, look, I saw Parkland play and they're dynamic. They smoked Nazareth on the night I saw them play. And State College actually, obviously for 2 years now has been chasing Harrisburg around with some really good games. But week to week, if you play St. Joe's Prep schedule, any of those teams, it doesn't mean that they're not good teams. And without getting into the public versus private, our job is to rank teams if they played each other, the top 10 or 15 in the state in each class. It's not to say the top 10 public schools, top 10 private schools. It's who's the best 10 in the PIAA out of 553 schools. So for me, you play that St. Joe's Prep schedule, and those are 0 or 1-win teams at this point. They play an incredible schedule.
Yeah, they always play the toughest teams. They've played some of the toughest teams around the country. I mean, they played American Heritage in week 1 and only lost one by 3.
Exactly. And if you think about it, that's been what St. Joe's Prep has done throughout the run. They have constantly not shied away from playing nationally ranked competition. And I know when I talked to Coach Working about that, when I saw them after their loss to the Mafra, at which point I think they fell to 0-3 or something, he mentioned the old adage, iron sharpens iron, that in order that he feels in order for his teams to be where they need to be when they start the play again in the PIAA in the category again, then into the state playoffs, that he needs to play the best of the best. And that's what he does is he schedules his opponents with the adage of making his team be better come the October and November.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, guys. So those are the teams that we're expecting to contend for the state title. You got North Allegheny at 7, Central York at 8, Imhotep at 9. They're sitting there at 4-3. Easton is sitting there at 7 out of 10. And then you have Coatesville, Council Rock South, Penridge, Manheim Township, and Wilson West Lawn. Out of those 7 teams, who's going to surprise us? Or 8 teams? Who do you think has what it takes to be that team that says, you're going to see me ranked number 4 or 5 at the end of the year, or maybe number 1?
In District 1, you got to look at Coastal right now. They're sitting real pretty at a perfect 7-0. Of course, now they start the meat grind of their schedule with having both downtowns, East and West, in back-to-back weeks. And then they finish the regular season with another tough challenge in a team that we have ranked in the 4A rankings, Bishop Shanahan. So the next couple of weeks, we're going to see how good is Coatesville. And another team that I would not be surprised that, to me, kind of came out of nowhere this year has been Penridge, undefeated this season. They're coming off a 4-win season last year. Here they are looking poised like a team that has to really be considered one of the favorites to win the district.
Yeah, favorite to win the district. I'm going to go with, if there's a team in there that surprises everybody, and this team took all of us by surprise last year, Fear the Beard, Wilson Westlawn. Look out for those guys. They're running under the radar. They're quiet. They're undefeated. They're not really having much trouble with anybody that they play. They don't have a real strong opponent coming up until the end of the season. Their last game of the year, they have a strong opponent. And then after that, it's playoffs. And last year, we were all like, where did Wilson come from? And that's just, Coach has the Beard has a way of doing it, and he can pull the Wilson Bulldogs up from anywhere and surprise anybody. I know he surprised Harrisburg a couple of years ago. I know we were pretty high on Manheim Township, and the Streets came in and said, nah, we're not as good as Wilson, and Wilson beat them. So I like Wilson Westlawn to be that team to show up, at least let's call them District 3 champions, or up against Harrisburg in the District 3 championship. That's such a weird bracket too, because Wilson is so far east, and they could end up playing in Altoona in the West bracket. That's just the most bizarre thing. But that's the way it is in 6A football, because there are no 6A teams west of Harrisburg. Pretty much. I mean, you go west of Harrisburg, all you have is Cumberland Valley. Mechanicsburg is 5A, so you have Cumberland Valley, and then you have State College, and then you got to go to the Whitfield, and that's it. And then what? Do we have anybody up in District 10 that's 6A? Erie, right?
Erie High and McDowell. They're the only two.
Erie and McDowell. They're not one and the same. Erie, McDowell. You can't say that. It's McDowell.
I always say Erie High and McDowell. Just make it.
Yeah, so that's our 6. Anybody else have anything they want to bring in on 6A? Or you think we got our covered going into the playoff stretch? Key games this week. I think there is a key game this week. Friday night, Roman Catholic, who took down LaSalle College, plays St. Joe's Prep this week.
That's going to be a dandy.
Yeah,
that's going to be a dandy. It's going to be interesting to see how St. Joseph's Prep handles the speed of which Roman's offense likes to go. I mean, for anybody that hasn't seen Roman, they like to run a play every 15 to 20 seconds. As fast as the officials are putting the ball down, they're getting ready to go. So that's going to be interesting to see how St. Joe's Prep handles that.
So let's say Roman takes down St. Joe's Prep. Is that the point where we're safe to say, okay, now we can start dropping them down in the rankings?
Yes, 100%. Because
I think so.
If they can't beat Roman Catholic, I mean, LaSalle already lost to them, and then they lost to LaSalle now, and pretty handily they lost to LaSalle. So if they can't beat Roman Catholic, I think it might be the point where we say, okay, they can't ride the thing that they've been riding this whole time.
And that's not to discredit Roman Catholic, who we have as ranked number 2 in 5A. They are a very good football team, but still, if they knock off St. Joe's Prep, then I think we all would agree that it would be time to knock down the Prep down in the rankings more than.
Does Parkland beat Roman Catholic?
I don't think so.
Does State College beat Roman Catholic?
Again, I don't think so.
I don't think
Central
so.
Central York, Imhotep Charter, North Allegheny.
I would love to see an Imhotep Roman game this year. Unfortunately, we won't see that in the District 12 championship game with Imhotep being the 6A team.
You're ranking the best.
I got a question for our next segment. I have a good question.
You're ranking the best teams in the state, not the teams with the best records.
True that, Matt.
Yeah. And, I can't wait to come back because I have a great question loaded up and ready to go for the next segment. But right now, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back and we're just going to chat. We're just going to have some fun here on the state of PA football. Hope you're enjoying our show here on CWTAP TV. We like being on CWTAP, and we'll be right back after these messages from our sponsors.
PAFootballnews.com and CWTAP. Tap into the state. PAFootballNews.com and CWTAP presents their weekly highlight show, bringing you, the viewers and fans, the best of the weekend's high school and college football action and interviews from all over the state of Pennsylvania. And introducing The View from the Sidelines, where you, the fans, can send in clips of your favorite team or athletes. Simply email your links or clips to Billy at PAFootballNews.com with the subject line, The View, by Sunday morning, and we'll try and present them on the program. PAFootballNews.com and CWTAP Tap Into the State. Our weekly highlight show every Tuesday at 9 on CWTAP and the next morning streaming on PFN. We got you covered.
You want to be able to play as hard as you can, as safe as you can.
Whenever I have the safe cap on, it absorbs most of the blow.
You can tell it's a little bit softer. When you get hit, it's just like kind of bounces off instead of reverberates through your helmet.
So when we look at those tests, when we had a safer cover on a football helmet, on average, it reduced accelerations by 11%.
My name is Carlos Bradley. I'm a former NFL player and currently chairman of Safer Sports. What is Safer Sports? We are a soft shell technology company. Our product, the Safer Helmet Cover, has been tested at Virginia Tech Helmet Lab and is proven to reduce the risk of concussion by as much as 77%. So if you have a youth league, a high school or college, and you want to be safer, get in touch with safersports.com.
Touchdown! Juggled and caught! And welcome back to the State of PA Football. This is our stretch run show. We're just here with a bunch of guys from our crew, and we're talking football, and we're talking rankings, and we're talking contenders, pretenders, and surprise guys. We covered 6A, so let's get into 5A. Right away, we have Pine, Richland, Roman Catholic, Peters Township, Chester, and McDevitt are our top five. Upper St. Clair, who just took a loss 2 weeks ago. Exeter Township, undefeated. Delco with a big win last week. Woodland Hills recovered from 2 losses, and now they're 5-2, and they're looking pretty good right now. And Haldesburg is 7-0. I'll go to the center square there with Matt. Matt, this was your opinion before. Is Pine Richland still the best team in football in Pennsylvania?
I still think they're the best in 5A. You know, Roman's been making some waves, so I mean they're raising their hand for that 5A number 1 spot, which they definitely have an argument. But I'm still on the Pine Richland bandwagon. I said it before from the beginning of the season. I thought they're the best team in 5A, and until they show me otherwise, I'm sticking with Pine Richland.
Ruby Strader can throw, can run. He's a good athlete. Now, number 2 is Roman Catholic. Roman Catholic just beat LaSalle, who was our number 1 team in Pennsylvania in 6A. So how is so are you saying Pine Richland beats LaSalle as well?
I haven't seen Pine Richland play yet this year, so I'd wait a second before I answer that question. I think it's a great game. I think LaSalle's the best team in 6A, to be perfectly honest, so I'll just put that out there. I think Pine Richland's number 1 in 5A. So, but again, you can't go by wins and losses. Don't forget last year, Roman Catholic lost 5 games last year, and they lost a state title in overtime. So it doesn't matter what your record is. It's the eye test.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's right. And in case you're wondering out there, folks, there's a very good chance Matt will say Pine Richland in the next 3 weeks. I can guarantee it. He won't get out that way. You know what drives me crazy though is and Shane, you're kind of like a victim of this. all these stadiums putting lights in, we're losing all these Saturday afternoon games out in the Whitfield. It's almost not worth making the trip out to Pittsburgh anymore.
Yeah, it is. You know, that's the one thing I always said. I do enjoy covering high school football on Saturdays. I like some of the college games too when you get a chance to get out there and see some of them, especially at the D2 and D3 level. They always love when you come out. But yeah, you are losing a little bit of that. I know with Western Beavers one, and trying to remember some of the others that I know have done it in recent years. But yeah, I mean, it's great for them and the community and the kids.
Yeah.
I know Western Beaver, they talked about how they had just a sellout crowd there. The whole community came out for that first Friday night game, which was awesome to see. But yeah, I mean, you know, maybe for the traditionalists out there, it's a little more disappointing. But I think it is a good thing for the kids and the community as a whole. So we'll see how things continue, moving forward.
Yeah, they're like Matt likes to travel around the state and look for a group of games. And it's making it harder and harder to get out there because there is no group of games anymore. You can catch you can catch a Friday game. Even Thursday games are tough because the only thing going on in Pittsburgh, except for this weekend, where it's going to be a whole bunch to nothing, as Shane said, when Central Catholic plays Norman on a Thursday night. But other than that, you got Couple Stadium with City League football on a Thursday night, and that's kind of sketchy if you're from outside the area. I mean, that's a tight area of town in Pittsburgh. And then, you got a Friday night game and then you got to look for a game on the way back through. Or if you're Matt, you just go to Philadelphia from Pittsburgh and go watch a football game. So
he's not afraid to travel.
We have
I'm not paying his gas bill.
I'm going to be honest. We probably have three of the, and I'll count myself, I'll say four of the most traveling people for football that I've ever met. And Davin, if you keep up your ways, you might slide in this.
I'm getting there. Right, I'm getting there.
I mean, Matt goes from Pittsburgh to Philadelphia in the weekend. Shane probably puts on 500-600 miles in a 200-mile radius. I mean, he's just driving.
We're going to be close this weekend again. Yeah, we'll be close. We'll be in Youngstown Friday, and then up to Erie on Saturday. So yeah, we'll be getting.
What was it? 2 weeks ago, Matt? You went from Long Island, New York for the Ryder Cup down to Delco for the game, and then went up to North Penn. That was 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, the Ryder Cup, I went on Friday a couple weeks ago, and then I had to get it. I wasn't going Saturday, so I drove to Westchester that night, and it was brutal getting off of Long Island. It was like 6 hours instead of a 3-hour trip. So by the time I got to Westchester, I was done. And I had to wake up Friday morning for an 11 o'clock Chester game, and that wasn't easy to do. And then obviously when I get there, it's 76-7 final. So, it's just wild.
Yeah, speaking of Chester, okay, so Peters Township at 3, Chester at 4, McDevitt at 5. Which of those three teams can surprise and take on Pine Richland or Roman Catholic? So you're looking at Chester battling a Roman Catholic, and you're looking at Peters Township maybe battling Pine Richland. So those are four teams that all have a really good shot, I believe, at reaching the state final. I've watched their film. I haven't seen them live like you have, Matt, but I like Chester. I like their team. We got to wait and see. I know Deron Harris went down with an injury last week, and I hope he's back playing football this week. Any word on that, Anthony or Willie?
The last update I had from his head coach was thankfully he was sent home from the hospital that night and was told to rest. Now, does that equate to him coming back for the next couple of weeks? I'm not sure. And if I'm being honest, I'm not sure Chester needs him next couple of weeks with their schedule with them playing in the with them. With them having.
I mean, they play two more cupcakes on the way out. They have
in the
and they have Penwood.
If I'm done so, I'm maybe letting him practice if he's cleared to practice, but maybe not putting him out there the next 2 weeks because after in 3 weeks you're going to start the meat grinder. That's the District 1 5A playoffs, and you're going to need them healthy if you're going to eventually see teams like Westchester Ruston, Springfield Delco, Strathaven, among several other teams. You're going to need you're going to need both Harris twins to be healthy. So maybe you hold them out this week and next week, but let's see what they do.
So Chester has an extra week off too at the end of the week. They don't have anybody scheduled at the bottom end of their schedule. So
No,
on the 24th, when everybody's playing, they've got a week off. So
yes,
that's an extra week for them to rest their players.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think that I don't know. Where are you with that, Jared? Do you like a week off going into the playoffs, or do you want to play?
I'd rather play. I mean, the only reason that I wouldn't play is if I had significant injury and I thought I was going to get better. I think that's the only time. You don't want like the idle hands or the devil's workshop. You want to keep playing. I think momentum is a big thing in high school football, right?
What do you think, Shane?
Yeah, I agree with pretty much everything Jared said. I think sometimes if you're a little beat up, it might be good to take that week off. Other times, yeah, I think if you got it rolling, keep it rolling right into the postseason.
Yeah, that's how I'm at. That's where I'm at too. Bishop McDevitt, the defending champions this year, they're kind of just floating under the radar. With McDevitt, we found out that they weren't ready for the really big tough guys. They came back and they played Harrisburg pretty strong and took them to the end of the game. But now they're in that part of their schedule where they are stronger than everybody else. 5A is kind of weird. Like 5A of any conference is almost in the mid-10 is very top heavy. There are 2 teams in 5A, maybe 3, and one stands out. You have McDevitt, and then you have Shippensburg, and you have Mechanicsburg. Every year it comes down to Shippensburg and Mechanicsburg. And now, since they moved McDevitt up 3 years ago into the 5A, it's pretty much McDevitt takes both of them out of the playoffs one week after the other, and it's kind of crazy that way. Hard read on McDevitt. I don't think I can get a read on McDevitt. Do they fit in with those top 4? I gotta say not yet. Their quarterback's doing a really good job, but I'm gonna say they're not ready for the primetime players yet. They are getting better every week, but I mean, Shane, you see it with McDowell up there, and you used to see it with Cathedral Prep. These teams, you get like 2 good teams on their schedule, and it's really hard to judge what they have.
Yeah, it can be. I mean, when you take there's a couple of things too. When you take the strength of schedule, obviously we've talked about that. I won't belabor the point on that, but then also the fact that sometimes you don't know based on when you're in a situation like they are, when you're playing a number of out-of-state teams, sometimes it can be hard to judge exactly, what they have. Like, I think, what is it, Cathedral Prep this year? I think they play only 30% of their schedules against Pennsylvania opponents. So, or maybe it's McDowell. It's one of the two. I know I'm going to see McDowell on Friday again in Austin Town, against Fitch. We'll see what happens there. So, yeah, a lot of these teams, ultimately you can judge it based on who's playing the best football heading toward the postseason. Like you say, if you're playing tough competition, doesn't necessarily mean you have to win, but you got to look good in terms of losing. And I say that based on what happened, say, with Farrell and Steubenville. Farrell's not going to see anybody like Steubenville the rest of the season. So you go down there, you play a much larger school, you play a good football game, you come up a little short. That's what makes you better heading into the postseason. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah. You look at the next 5 teams: Upper St. Clair, Exeter Township, Springfield Delco, Woodland Hills, and Hollidaysburg. Delco with a big win last week over Haverford. Haverford put up a battle for a while, Willie, but eventually Springfield pulled away.
They certainly did. For the first half, it was a pretty even game, and then Springfield just came out in the second half, was able to take the lead, and then turn the game over to the defense. And they did, in the second half, they did something that I have not seen many teams do, and that's contain and borderline shut down Haverford's great running back, Liam Taylor, who, yes, he still had gotten over his 200 yards that he's been getting per game, but majority of his damage came in the first half. And then in the second half, Springfield was able to shut him down. And everybody talk about a three-headed run game they have in Tanner Cole, Luke Valerio, and TJ Varetti. You win games with a solid run game in October and November, and Springfield definitely has the run game and the line play to win games and make another run to a district championship appearance, and even win the district this year. It's very possible. I would not be surprised if it's Springfield and Chester or in the district final. I would not be surprised to see that one bit. But you just still also got the Strathavens, the Westchester Rustons, still. So it's gonna be interesting to see.
Yeah, there's two teams there. Exeter Township is just that team that they don't have any real stars every year. They might have one good football player, but they're just a solid program every year. And this year, like, I don't think I could name one standout player for Exeter Township. I mean, I don't know if anybody else can, but I can't. And I'm not looking at the roster right now or anything like that. But there they are sitting at 7-0 and just clocking along. They're beating teams. Now, I will say this. Their schedule favors them. They don't have a strong schedule. And I get it. It's not your fault who you have to play. But, I mean, when you look at their schedule for Exeter Township, and there's a reason I'm going to say this. I mean, like, they've beat Daniel Boone 0-7, Boyertown. They only beat them by 18 points. They beat a 3-4 Pleasant Valley team, a 2-5 Governor Mifflin team, an 0-7 Lebanon team, 4-3 Ephrata, and they handled a 6-1 Muhlenberg team, but that's another team whose schedule is actually worse than Exeter Township. So just got to keep an eye on Exeter, and that's my opinion. But I do like there is one team hanging out there, number 10, Hollidaysburg. Got to see them against Jersey Shore, and I'm going to tell you right now, they laid the wood. And Jersey Shore likes to call themselves woodshed football. Well, Hollidaysburg took them around the backside of the woodshed and showed them how to go through the front door, because they just did everything. It was almost like Hollidaysburg knew what plays they were going to call. Josh Banks was incredible. He had an interception in the first half that led to a touchdown with 40 seconds left in the first half. And then he had 2 pick sixes, and he just was all over the field. Their quarterback is great. Hollidaysburg is one of those teams that, as much as I think Exeter is a solid football team, Hollidaysburg has some kids that are, if you got, this is your top level, they have kids that all their kids are at this level. One level away from this level, but they're all right here. Every one of them. Their offensive line, their defensive line, they were tenacious. The Jersey Shore's quarterback did not have room at all. He had no time to throw the ball. They were all over him. And Bo Sechrist, we know Bo Sechrist is like the kid that can, you hold your breath. By the end of I'd say the second quarter, going into the third quarter, you just knew as soon as you touched the ball, they were going to crush it. It was that's what that game looked like to me. So Hollidaysburg is a team to look out for. And one of the things Homer Delauder told me before the game was he's real excited because they finally beat Fort Hill. They've been playing Fort Hill for a couple of years. And if you don't know who Fort Hill is, Shane's been there. And,
I was going to say, we're waiting for you to bring that up.
Yeah.
Well, technically they got a forfeit win, I think, last year, but
they haven't beat them on the field. Yep. But that is a quality football program.
Well, that's one that wins the state title nearly every year. They had a run for a number of years there in Maryland. Yeah, that's a legit program.
And Hollidaysburg went down and handed it to him. And Homer said, Homer was laughing. I know Homer really well. And they were talking about how great that win was. They were just like, that is, Homer said, a signature win for Hollidaysburg. And I think it's the win that puts them at the next level that they've been looking for. The thing about Hollidaysburg, and a lot of people don't realize, is they don't play in the league. They're an independent football team, so they got to bounce all over the place because where they're at, The closest 5A school, I think, is Mechanicsburg, and they don't want to join the Mid-Penn League.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't either if I was Hollidaysburg. That's Altoona did that. That's a lot of travel.
And they tried the WPIL too, and that didn't quite work. They were like, I think we like the independent.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's got it going on. He knows how to get the schedule full. So he does a good job with it. Mechanicsburg, Shippensburg, Strathaven, Pittston. Are there any teams that might surprise some of those top 10 teams?
I'm just going to talk Pittston for just a second. Last year, Abington Heights lost their quarterback in the district championship game, and they ended up winning anyways. And they went out to Hollidaysburg to play them and had them on the ropes, strangely enough. And it was a 1-point game. And it's just weird. And the reason I just want to throw Pittston area out there is because the way they do stuff is so different than anybody else. Every week, it seems like they learn something else new that they can do, that they're like, wow, we can really run the ball now. And all of a sudden, they just start running the ball over everybody. They've got a kid, a wide receiver, who's probably the best wide receiver in District 2, and you can't kick to him because he's a danger to return it every single time. Lucas Lepresto, he's really, really good. When you have a gadget player like that and you kind of play hard in the trench and you just kind of do gimmicky things, sometimes you're surprised. So just going to throw the name out there in case something happens, because it might.
Yeah, Anthony, get up, Anthony. Hey, we're losing him. I think the door of the train opened up and Anthony's falling out. So, Strathaven, Willie. I mean, their quarterback came back this week and they looked strong again.
They certainly do. Like you said, they battled a few injuries. I know in their loss against Haverford, they were out 3 or 4 top players. Looking at their schedule, the next 2 weeks they have Harrington and Lower Mary, which I don't see them having any problem with. And then that sets the table for a big Week 10. And yes, I'm going to use the term Week 10 battle at Springfield for what is going to be a great test to see where each team is heading into the district playoffs the following week.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of sleeper out there. Anthony, Academy at Palumbo is 6-1. They're not a sleeper, right? This is just something that's the product of their league, right, Anthony?
Absolutely. They're not in the top division or the second tier division. So their level of competition isn't up there. They're not this year. They have a new staff and they've done well this year, but not big boy level.
But it's still a good thing to see them up there. They got to be proud of that, So, hey,
Absolutely.
Hats off to them. Hats off to Academy of Palumbo. And what is their mascot, Anthony?
They're the Griffins.
The Griffins. Yeah.
The Griffins.
Okay. I don't know what a Griffin is. Anybody know what a Griffin is?
I went to Canisius College, and we were the Golden Griffins. So it's kind of like I don't know. It's like a winged, I don't know, hawk tiger mix, kind of.
Yeah, that's about what it is.
One of those Dungeons and Dragons characters, man. Dungeons and Dragons.
That's weird. Yeah. But anyway, and then you got the Blue Demons of Kennett. What's up with that, Willie? They're 6-1, man.
Another great their head coach Lance Frazier is a former Dallas Cowboy. Anytime you have a head coach that played in the NFL, he knows a lot of football, and they've been on a roll, and they're going to be a team that's going to be tough out in the District 1 5A playoffs. And another team, their arch rivals, and I believe that the two play each other coming up. Unionville, they take on Unionville, in what should be another great game.
That's actually a big game. Yeah, Unionville kind of slid a little bit. I thought they came out of the box hot, and then they've dropped down to 4-3. They've lost 2 of their last 3 games. So that's our 5A breakdown. That's it. Anybody else have anything in 5A? Any surprises? Anything to say?
No.
All right, we're going to come back and break down 4A. We got a couple of surprises in 4A too this year. So this is the State of PA football. We're live and we're not live. So we are on the CWTAP, and I do want to tell you guys out there one thing. Check out CWTAP and check out PA Football News. The PFN taps into the state It's 90 minutes of highlights from the previous weekend that our guys go through, and they pick up some of the best highlights. We have interviews with coaches and players from all over the state. Get to know the state of PA football on PFN Taps into the State every Tuesday night at 9 o'clock on CWTAP TV, and Wednesday morning at a new time, 7 a.m., so that you kids can watch it on in the buses going to school. So 7 a.m. Wednesday morning, PFN Taps into the State. This week we featured over 70 games, so check it out. We'll be right back after these messages.
The Cobalt Plus headset
Welcome
system
to C3 Kids.
delivers
Come in and take a
proven
tour.
performance along with
This is a
more
Christian
features,
facility.
more flexibility.
This is one of our
That's
3
why
baby
coaches
rooms.
across Pennsylvania
It wouldn't
trust
be a crib
Cobalt
school without
Plus.
these cribs, right?
Coachcom makes tough headset systems for tough.
This is the gym. This is our dome. Age range is 6 weeks to 12 years old. We also do like aftercare programs and summer camp programs. Hey, thanks for joining us on a cribs tour for C3 Kids. Have a good day.
Promises Internet Service. Please remain on the line. Due to high call volume around the world, it's likely you'll be on hold for well over an hour.
Get faster speeds for less money than the national companies at CenterWisp in Central Pennsylvania. CenterWisp is your fast local internet provider. For more information, go to centerwisp.com. That's CenterWisp.com. Now with faster speeds.
Hey everybody, we're Big Daddy Weave. We are so excited to announce the Let It Begin Fall Tour coming October and November this year, 2025. We've got some incredible friends out on tour with us. Megan Woods is just amazing. And longtime friend, David Leonard. I'm telling you, you don't want to miss this night. Go to BigDaddyWeave.com for information and get tickets. We want to see you there.
For over a decade, Circle W Sports has delivered top-tier athletic websites and helped numerous student athletes get noticed. Now, we're taking things to the next level with Showcase. We've reimagined everything, combining the power of our proven platform into one sleek, all-in-one profile that's customizable, dynamic, and built just for you. No more juggling multiple profiles. No more messy links. Every Showcase tier includes a personalized QR code and short link, making it easier than ever to share your story, anytime, anywhere. Think of it as your own digital scrapbook. Post highlights, add workout clips, upload photos, share your stats, achievements, and more, all in one place. Whether you're chasing scholarships, creating your personal brand with our name, image, and likeness offerings, or you just want to show off your grind, Showcase puts your journey front and center with packages starting at $9.99 per month. It's your game, your story, your future. Get noticed, get recruited, and most importantly, get ahead with Showcase.
And welcome back to the State of PA football. This is our staff. Well, this is the main staff. Well, this is part of the main staff. We got Jared and Anthony and Shane and Matt and Davin and Willie and myself, Billy's playing. We're from all over the state. We're talking football. We're talking playoff run. We're talking contenders and pretenders. We're going to go into 4A now. 4A is, to me, the most interesting classification that we have. It's the most diverse, strange, I don't know what's going to happen kind of thing. So, but where I'm going to start with this is a shocker. And it's been a while since I can say this, but we don't have Thomas Jefferson ranked in the top 10 or an honorable mention. What happened to Thomas Jefferson? Anybody want to take that one?
Well, I think the other shocker is we don't have TJ or Aliquippa ranked in the top 10 or honorable mention yet. But the Quips they're going about business quietly this year. Well, District 7, I think, is wide open. You got McKeesport, TJ, obviously, and Aliquippa. But yeah, District 7's wide open right now, and we'll see what happens out there. TJ, I was on their bandwagon there for a few weeks, but I had to jump off. They just didn't perform. You know, I still think they could do something in the playoffs, but in terms of like a top 10, top 15 team in the state, they're just not there yet.
No, I don't think so either. Aliquippa either. This is a classification that for years the Whitfield has pretty much owned, and now all of a sudden, it's a pretty good mix. I mean, number one, we have Southern Lehigh. We have Shamokin at number 2, Bonner Prendy at number 3, and Wyomissing at number 4. Those are our top 4, and I like to talk about them like that. We have all 4 teams are from the East, guys. That all 4 of our top 4 teams are from the East. One of those teams is going to go play for a state championship. One of those teams is going to be eliminated 3 games before the state championship. Which team is going to be the first of those 4 eliminated?
Matt?
I mean, yeah, I think you find out a little bit about Wyomissing this week. They played Twin Valley on a Saturday game at Wyomissing. You're going to find out a lot about both teams at that game. I know Southern played Wyomissing in the first week, but this is more of a 4A matchup for both teams. And then, with Bonner, and Anthony can speak to Bonner better than I can, but their next 3 games are LaSalle, St. Joe's Prep, and Roman. So good luck with that.
They definitely get a meat grinder.
Anthony, how did he get through that stretch, Anthony?
Lots of prayer because you're going through a gauntlet.
Well, they are a Catholic school.
Yeah. They pray before games and after games, so they actually.
And you got to remember, the other 3 teams are also praying because they're all.
Yeah. Yeah. For Bonner, the key is going to be they have to start fast. All their games so far, they're kind of starting slow. Against LaSalle this week, that can happen, or they're going to get ran off the field. It's going to be the same thing the next 2 weeks with Prep and Roman. They have to get off to a fast start. If they get off to a fast start, they have athletes on both sides of the ball that can match up, and they actually have a big physical line. It's just the slow starts kill them, and against 5 and 6A teams, that can't happen. They have to get off to a fast start.
Yeah, you can't take anything. You can't take anything away from them if they lose these next 3 games. I mean, they're playing all bigger schools.
They can take one out of those 3 games. I think they can call that a success. I mean, they're going to try to win all 3, obviously, but if they can get at least one out of those 3, that's going to be huge.
I would agree with that statement. If they, in my opinion, they're facing the 3 top teams in the red division, and if you're able to get through, and get a victory out of either one of them, either of those 3 games, either victory in either one of those 3 games would be a great test to Coach Maduna and his program, because they are 3 of the top teams, regardless of classifications in the state. If you could knock off one of them, that would be huge for the program. And let's see, with the Roman game, the last game of the year, Roman's gonna be out for a little bit of revenge because last year Roman knocked them off in a shootout, 38. No, wait, Bonner knocked off Roman last year, 38-30 last year, in a game that I think Roman thought they should have won. I think Anthony was at that game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I was at that game, and that springboarded Bonner into the championship last year because they gave him so much confidence, even though they lost to Prep and LaSalle. that's showing that, hey, we can hang with a bigger team and we beat them. And they actually were up multiple scores before Roman made a comeback in the fourth quarter to narrow the score. So they had that game pretty much in their hands, pretty much the whole game. So definitely, if they can get one out of those three, I think that'll boost their confidence going forward into the playoffs to repeat. I know their coach has said numerous times he doesn't look at it as repeating the state champions because this is a new team, a new year, and they have their own goals. So we'll see what happens.
All right, I like to do a little thing here. You know, we always talk about when we do our rankings, schedule of strength. All right, let's look at this. The top four. Why missing? They've beat exactly one team with a winning record, Southern Columbia, a 2A school. The record of their schools they've beaten is 2-2, 2-4, 1-6, 3-4, 2-5, 0-7. So how we really can't tell a whole lot. We're just waiting because we know Bob Wolfram is the king of 4A football, and I think that's why we have them where they're at. They're slowly, just silently going through their next, like you said, Matt. Anybody going to that game? Why I'm missing Twin Valley? Do we have anybody here going to that game? I know Bill Ryan's going to be there. I think I might go there just to scope Bill Ryan out and see who he is.
Somebody
Matt and I have both been in games with him, and we're like, who is this guy, and where's he at? Why won't he reveal himself? He's like Darth Vader or something like that, like waiting in the wings. But he does stuff for us, so it's all good. Anybody going? Where are you going on Saturday, Davin?
I'm going to Philly to do a triple header this week. I've got Reed Charter, Thomas Edison. I've got Newman Goretti and West Catholic, who I just saw, and then I'm doing a 12 versus 11 matchup in School of the Future and Executive Education. So I got a Philly triple header this week.
Wow,
we'll bring them down. We'll bring them down again. We'll bring them down to Philly again.
Matt, would you give up 2 of those games to go to Why I'm Missing?
Oh yeah, that's other than the Roman game this week, I'd say Twin Valley Wyomissing is probably the game of the week. And anytime you can get to a game at Wyomissing on a Saturday afternoon, it's a no-brainer. That's the best atmosphere. Never.
I think Davin would fit in there. I mean, he would eat that atmosphere up.
Leather helmets and no face masks. It's awesome.
In the middle of a beautiful Connecticut town, with no gate, no fence, no nothing. Just
picnics
beautiful.
On the berm. Yep, they roll out the picnic baskets and watch a little football.
That's it, man. They ride in on their scooters and their DeLoreans, and it's. If you've never been to Why I'm Missing for a football game, go one time. Just go one time. You'll thank me. And they have Chick-fil-A. They do have Chick-fil-A.
That's always a plus.
That's why it's good that they play high school football. So that means they don't play on Sunday. So
yeah, it's an amazing atmosphere. And then, so anyway, that's why I'm missing. So let's take a look at Southern Lehigh schedule. Our number 1 team. They've beaten Quakertown, Blue Mountain, Lehigh, and North Schuylkill, Pottsville, Jim Thorpe, and Tamaqua. Exactly two of those have a winning schedule, and that's 4-3. And that's Blue Mountain and North Schuylkill. Their next opponents, 0-7, 4-3, until they hit Northwestern Lehigh, who is 7-0. But then again, Northwestern Lehigh is a 3A team. So that's Southern Lehigh's schedule. How do we rank? And I guess we should look at one more schedule, right? Let's take a look at this one. Shamokin.
They have also had a favorable
2-5, 4-3, 5-2, 5-2, 0-7, 1-6, 4-3. So they're all. I mean, and the reason I brought that up is we don't have a 4A team that plays the kind of schedule that Bonner is about to enter.
No. And then you forget, Billy. After that, Bonner will have to face their arch rival again, O'Hara, to find out who represents the Catholic League in the 4A championship game. And they beat them by 12 a couple weeks ago, but that game seeing a rival again, you never know what could happen.
Shanahan's
And
rolling.
that's not a for actually, Willie. You can't forget Arthur O'Brien. They're 4A too.
Ryan too, yes.
So.
Ryan is
Yeah,
4A.
they're
I
playing good
forgot
football
about
down
them.
there. So yeah, so these are some teams that could surprise. I think if there's anybody, any classification that we have where some of these bottom teams can surprise and jump to the top, I think it's 4A. North Pocono, Jared.
Listen, North Pocono has been a surprise all year at how strong they've been. They've rolled, and they've beaten some pretty stalwart teams up in District 2. They totally handled Abington Heights, and I mean Abington Heights was loaded, had everybody healthy. I mean Matt was at that game. They owned them. They owned them. Abington Heights had no clue what to do. They had rolled teams up to that point. They were like, "What the heck happened?"
Of all the teams, I would say their schedule has been the most impressive. They've taken down 6-1 Pittston area. They've beaten a 5-2 now team in Abington Heights. Valley View at 4-3 is not a slouch. So that's a good win for them too.
That's the thing, and they're big too. And I think they're going to run the table. And I don't think there's a team in 4A and District 2 that can beat them. And then it's going to get really interesting after that. So we'll see.
There's another interesting fact. In our overall records in Class 4A, all the 7-0 teams. Albert Gallatin out in Pittsburgh, who is an independent, they withdrew the league so that they could rebuild and get better. They're 7-0. So if we took, but they don't play in the playoffs. So if we take Albert Gallatin out of there, North Pocono is the closest letter to A in the alphabet. So it's with undefeated teams in 4A, you've got North Pocono, Punxsutawney, Shamokin, Southern Lehigh, Susquehanna Township. And here's a team I'm going to ask Anthony about, Thomas Edison. David's about to see him. What's he looking for?
We'll see him this week.
Actually, think about doubling up that to see Edison, because this is essentially a championship game. Within their division, they can't qualify for the pumpkin playoffs, unfortunately, due to them being in the bottom division. But they're a team we're seeing that they're very young, and I'm pretty sure they return almost the entire team this year. So I think they're a lot better than record.
You're kind of like, we're having a hard time hearing you on that one, Anthony. It's difficult to hear you. I don't know what's going on there, but anyway, you mentioned that they are in the bottom league in the Pum League. Thomas Edison can't play for a title. That's kind of strange, and you have an article out on our website about the new public playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting. Any other surprises coming up out of the 4A ranks, guys, before we head out of there? I mean, Jersey Shore, I think we're going to write them off. I just don't think they look like a complete team at all.
Hey.
Lampeter Strasburg. I don't think
Jersey Shore and Shamokin, we were just talking about Shamokin. Those two teams are teams that are, I don't want to say screwed by their schedule, but they kind of get a little screwed over by their schedule. I mean, if you look at Shamokin and Jersey Shore's schedule, I mean, Jersey Shore just got 52 dropped on their head by Hollidaysburg. Billy was there. So you have to look at their competition and be like, they're not really playing a whole lot, but it's like you almost have to write them off. So that's the case for a lot of teams, and that is the case in 4A for a couple of these teams too.
I write Jersey Shore off for two things. Number one, their line is small, and number two, their quarterback is only 5'10".
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, like he's just a little guy when he gets up there. Punxsutawney is a good story, Shane. And General McLean beat Oil City. For those of you who don't know, we swapped Oil City and General McLean because
I should have caught that earlier.
Oil City had a loss, and it was General McLean. So
I will say this. I will say this about Punxsutawney, though. I remember seeing them last year against Sharpsville in a losing effort, and I saw all those kids. I knew they were coming back. And Punxsutawney, you look at that District 9 large school league. You got Punxsy, DuBois, Carson City, Central Clarion. Those are not bad football teams. And when you talk about the 4A level, 4A is not 5A and 6A. And I mean, you look at Punksy's schedule and the competition that they play. Is it really that? I mean, we'll talk about Carn City. They just beat Westinghouse. And again, Westinghouse had a similar win against Butler that Hollidaysburg did. So just let that kind of sink in. But the thing of it is, Punxsutawney, they're going to probably end up playing either Clearfield, USO, somebody in there. And then if the WPIL is wide open, and speaking of which, how about the Newcastle Red Hurricanes? Sitting at 6-1, and their quarterbacks are freshmen, leading receivers a sophomore, 2 backs are sophomores. I mean, that's a team that's going to be good for a couple of years. But Punxsutawney, I mean, yeah, that league in District 10, I mean, or District 9, I mean, if they, they come out of there and they knock out the city champion and they can take out Clearfield, which they didn't do in 2010, the last time they were this good. Do they have a legitimate shot at beating the WPIL champion? I don't know. I mean, District 9's never done it at a large school level. Could this be a team that does it? I mean, that league is not terrible. I know General McLean's a solid team in 10, and they lost by 3 touchdowns against Du Bois, who Punxsy beat twice. So it's like
right now we're looking at the highest ranked team in the Whitfield in 4A is McKeesport. And they're an honorable mention. So I mean, honestly, this area good, Shane. Could Punxsutawney end up being like that team that nobody ever heard of? They're all going, who the hell? Who is that? Who the hell is that? Red Bank Valley. Remember a few years back, I remember my phone rang off the hook. Everybody's like, who is Red Bank Valley? Where's that at?
Well, that's just it. People think of Punxsutawney, you think of the groundhog, you don't think of football. And I mean, yeah, Punxsutawney is a team, and they got I mean, you look at Maddox Hetrick is a good quarterback for them, dual threat guy. He's got some guys to throw the ball to. The Bo Thomas, and I forget the other kid's name who off the top of my head. I know the Rutan kid's a good running back. I probably butchered that. I mean, if they play the WPIL, I think it's different than last year when Clearfield was undefeated and, you kind of knew, well, they're playing Thomas Jefferson. That's going to be that. I don't know that I see that same thing this year with Punxsutawney. In District 9 last year, I think they earned a little bit of respect. I know it was at small school levels, but I do think that league in District 10, I mean, is Punxsy's schedule really worse than Wymissing's or Susquehanna Township or Twin Valley? I mean, obviously they're not playing the schedule of Bonner, or even Southern Lehigh. But you look at some of the other teams, it's like, are they really that far off? I don't think so. Time will tell, but yeah, they are a great story.
That's pretty cool. So, hey, that's the 4A breakdown. I love the Punxsutawney story. We're going to keep on that. And I'm just going to be honest. Shane told us in our ranking meetings during our preseason ranking meetings, he said the team we're going to have to keep an eye on is Punxsutawney. You did call that. I'm going to give Shane the props on that one.
glad to see they're proving me right.
Yeah,
so far.
This is State of PA football. We're talking our playoff stretch run. We're just having some fun here tonight, and we're going to take a break. We'll be right back after this words from our sponsors.
PAFootballnews.com and CWTAP. Tap into the state. PAFootballnews.com and CWTAP presents their weekly highlight show, bringing you, the viewers and fans, the best of the weekend's high school and college football action and interviews from all over the state of Pennsylvania. And introducing The View from the Sidelines, where you, the fans, can send in clips of your favorite team or athletes. Simply email your links or clips to Billy@PAFootballnews.com with the subject line, The View, by Sunday morning, and we'll try and present them on the program. PAFootballnews.com and CWTAP Tap into the State. Our weekly highlight show every Tuesday at 9 on CWTAP and the next morning streaming on PFN. We got you covered.
Juggled and caught.
Thank Thank you for calling Promises Internet Service. Please remain on the line. Due to high call volume around the world, it's likely you'll be on hold for well over an hour.
Get faster speeds for less money than the national companies at CenterWisp in Central Pennsylvania. CenterWisp is your fast local internet provider. For more information, go to centerwisp.com. That's CenterWisp.com. Now with faster speeds.
Circle W Sports is the complete all-in-one platform for high school sports, designed by former athletes, coaches, and athletic directors. Circle W Sports gives school and team personnel an easier solution to run their entire athletic departments with the help of these features. League Manager makes creating master schedules a breeze. Configure your divisions, build schedules, track league all-stars, and much, much more. Referee Manager helps assign and track game officials in the same platform. And with RefPay, your officials can get paid within hours instead of days or weeks. Enjoy live scoring and statistical services through our Performance Tracker and Stat Tracker apps. Learn how to track your workout or camp and combine statistics in real time. Then create any type of report after your results are tallied. The Stat Tracker app helps keep your fans involved, whether they are in the stands or at home, with live in-game stats. For more information, visit CircleWsports.com, the official online platforms of PA Football News and the PSFCA Big 33.
All right, welcome back to the State of PA Football. This is our playoff stretch special show where I got a bunch of our staff members together and we're talking about who's going to do what out of what league. We're in 3A now. Avonworth, Northwestern Lehigh, Notre Dame Green Pond, and Imani Christian are our top 4 teams. I want to mention one more team, Hickory. They just lost a kid to injury, the receiver, right, Shane? And now
they've lost quite a few, but I believe.
And I just read that there was a hearing up in Erie. There was a hearing and about the eligibility of one of the players up there. So you're gonna have to look into that for.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look more into that. I don't pay attention to social media much until Friday night, or Friday.
Yeah,
so
you'll have to look into that. Why don't you go do that right now, and I'll come back to you. But
that doesn't affect Hickory, though. Hickory's not in Erie.
I mean, Avonworth, such a strong football team, and I mean, they're just blowing teams away, and it almost looks easy. I just watched some of their film today, and I mean, I don't even know if anybody has anything for Avonworth this year. I mean, they're that good. That's the team that I'm looking at and saying, if there was a team that I was going to pick win a state championship this year, it would be a 3A Avonworth.
Absolutely. They look so strong this year.
Based on heart alone, I think, Billy. Those guys, we saw it last year. Crazy.
Yeah.
That's a family there.
Yeah, give me some of that game again, Northwestern Lehigh and Avonworth, huh?
Oh, my gosh. Yes, right now. Right now.
Oof, that was a good game. Northwestern Lehigh just kind of squeaked by.
That was a great game.
I mean, the Tigers are just squeaking by, right?
Yeah, I won't say an inexperienced team, but they did only return 5 kids on the offense and 5 kids on the defense this year. So they just got to get their wheels under them a little bit. Every week they're going to get better and better. You got another Zimmerman kid, running the ball out there. So they're going to be fine. Josh Schneider does a great job with that program. And of any team in the state, one of the best community teams, I would say, around. Their community support in New Tripoli is awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely a different team.
There's a trivia quiz for all you people watching. Without looking at your map, can you tell me, or at your phone? I bet none of you can tell me where New Tripoli is. It's good stuff. Small town. It's great. Imani Christian, loaded with athletes. Coach Leroy knows what he's doing. He's been here before. He's got experience, but he's never been able to get over the hump to get to Acrisure Stadium or wherever they're playing the championship this year. This might be that year that they finally do get over that hump and get to Acrisure. We'll have to see, but their schedule is favorable for them. and I think they run the table. I do. I think just the players that they have, and then the schedule they've got. I mean, they don't face a winning team until they play Freeport in the last game of the season. And Freeport, they just lost their first game last week. So I think Amani runs a table, and they have a really, really good shot at getting a championship in the Whoopi Award. I think this is the year they do it. Elizabeth Forward, Berwick, Southmoreland, Mifflinburg, and Penn Cambria round out the top 10. Of all those teams, is there anybody in there that might have something for the top 4?
I want to talk real quick about Berwick because we've been talking about them all year. I don't know if they're going to be able to compete with those top teams, but it's such a great story, as we mentioned a while ago, to see Berwick back up there. They're 7-0. There's a very real chance they go 10-0. I mean, they've got such a great kid in the backfield running the ball for him. We've got Wilkerson in the backfield. I mean, he's averaging 160 yards a game. I mean, they're dominating everybody that they're playing.
Let me pull it back.
It's not.
Oh, you can't see it close to the camera. Well, that stinks.
It's blocking it out, but
that's my hometown star cereal. The Berwick Bulldogs 1996 champions.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
yep.
We haven't seen this kind
of. You can't see it. That's weird. Go Dogs.
We haven't seen that from them in a long time. They've kind of been in the down stretch these past couple of years, so it's really nice to be able to see them back at the top again.
Yeah, it's always good for football. It's like when the Cowboys and the Yankees are good in the NFL and MLB, and Berwick is good at high school football. It just love them or hate them. It's good for the sport. Everybody pays a little bit more attention when those teams are good. I'm probably going to go check Berwick out.
And that kind of completes that triangle that they have there. Like, you got Southern Columbia winning football, like that area down there. Now you got Southern. I just said this the other day. You have Southern Columbia, and you have Bloomsburg, and you have Berwick, all at the top of their leagues. I cannot remember the last time that happened. Then you add in Mifflinburg, who was right down the street. They're also sitting there. They're at 5-2, and their 2 losses came to 2 of the teams that are ranked.
Yeah,
and you're just like, it kind of completes that circle right there.
Yeah, I think those 2 teams are on a collision course too, Billy. I think the way that it sets up and just looking at the bracket, I don't think there's anybody in District 2 that beats Berwick. And I think what happens is that is the next round out of the district championship game for Berwick. If they get that far, they run the table. It's Mifflinburg, and we'll be looking forward to that game. That's going to be a huge game.
Nobody we've been talking about, at least I've been talking about Mifflinburg all year. There's not a team in 3A and District 4 that's going to stop them.
The computer stopped Davin though, so
right.
We can move on. So we were like, who's going to stop Davin from
nice Hollinsburg? They kind of got there.
The internet. You're back. You kind of froze.
Did it cut out?
Yeah, you cut it out.
My internet's being spotty. This Mifflinburg team, I mean, they look so much better than they did last year. I mean, their loss. We were talking about Hollidaysburg. They kind of got the crap beat out of them by Hollidaysburg, but that's one of the top teams. I mean, such a much larger school. And then they just played Southern. They hung with them the entire way. I'm pretty sure, Matt, you were at that game. I mean, this is a team I think mentioned they're going to 100% get through District 4. They're probably going to match up with Berwick then, and that's going to be a fun one to be at.
It is going to be a fun one. And just so you guys know, if it does happen, it's my game.
Go for it. You'll have to fight Hollywood for it.
Yeah, no, I don't have to fight Hollywood.
I'm going to fight for it too.
I just got to get there first. So Mifflinburg's only 35 minutes away. I can beat him there.
Hey, maybe they'll bring back the cannon for that game. Let's go. Yeah, bring it all back.
That game would probably be at Danville. Danville, because I don't think Danville's going to be playing at the time. Unfortunately, I love Carl to death. I mean, they're one of my biggest disappointments this year. Danville. I'm very surprised at the football they're playing this year.
Yeah. Billy, I might have to fight you for that that Mifflinburg Berwick game.
Bossman wins out.
You lose. You lose, Davin. I'm the boss. I win.
That's fair.
So anyway, Penn Cambria, they don't have a shot, right? I don't think so. It's a feel-good story. They're still winning. They lost their coach, Nick. He's down in the Chamonix women football games, although he has lost two so far. Let's go with these names. Berks Catholic, Freeport, Huntington, Montoursville, and Bartram. Any surprises there?
Montoursville has been playing good football. Montoursville has been playing good football, but they're not a team that can take down anybody at the top, I don't think.
Bartram, Anthony, what's going on there?
This is actually a resurgent year for Bartram. They were in the top division last year. They got dropped down, and they've actually played well. They're a strong defensive team. They're not going to put a whole bunch of points on the board, but they have had it. So they were a surprise 3-8 team. In the District 12 finals, they'll probably match up with West Catholic, I believe it's 3A. So I would say they have a good shot. And by the end of the season, they may be in the top 10 if they can continue to gel and improve. Like I said, offensively.
Anthony, West Catholic is 2A. So I would probably say they would probably match up with either Newman Gray or Conwell Egan. I would think.
Gotcha. Yeah, with Egan or Newman Gray, I think they match up well with them.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to have much trouble getting out of the district, and then that puts them in that position where I talk about it a lot. Now they did lose to Philadelphia Central, who's a much larger team, but they got a big game, and Davin has that game this weekend. Davin, by the way, let me know if you need rosters for these guys. I'll help you secure them because I'm sure you're not finding them anywhere. But Belmont Charter and they get together with John Bartram this weekend, so that's actually going to be a big tell who's got what this year. James Okamickey is a very good football coach, and for Belmont Charter, they have some athletes, and Terrell Brent is a very nice guy too, good coach, and so I'm excited to see that happen. But honestly, like, the question is, do we think any of those guys are going to come up and challenge those top four? I just don't think so. I just don't think so. Freeport's a nice story. Huntington just lost their second game to Tyrone. So I think we've established that it's Avonworth, Northern Western Lehigh, Notre Dame, Green Pond, Amani, and then the rest of them are in there, unless Hickory gets healthy. If Hickory can get healthy.
They did get Kelvin Morrison back, so that's a good sign.
So, so if they're healthy, then I think those top five are the five teams that are vying for a state championship. Berwick and Mifflinburg are a feel-good story, and Elizabeth Ford and Southmoreland will be fighting for the crown underneath Avonworth. So, hey, that's our 3A breakdown. Now we're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk 2A football. So we'll be right back after these messages from our sponsor with the State of PA Football.
CoachComm is the proven and trusted leader in coaching communications. For over 30 years, we've built our business on innovation and winning, with the goal to equip your team with the best coaching communication available. 97% of all FBS programs and thousands of high schools and colleges across the U.S. choose CoachComm because CoachComm has the experience and the know-how to provide the very best in technology and winning solutions.
You want to be able to play as hard as you can, as safe as you can.
Whenever I have the safe cap on, it absorbs most of the blow.
You can tell it's a little bit softer. When you get hit, it's just like kind of bounces off instead of reverberates through your helmet.
So when we look at those tests, when we had a safer cover on a football helmet, on average, it reduced accelerations by 11%.
My name is Carlos Bradley. I'm a former NFL player and currently chairman of Safer Sports. What is Safer Sports? We are a soft shell technology company. Our product, the Safer Helmet Cover, has been tested at Virginia Tech Helmet Lab and is proven to reduce the risk of concussion by as much as 77%. So if you have a youth league, a high school or college, and you want to be safer, get in touch with safersports.com.
Hey everybody, we're Big Daddy Weave. We are so excited to announce the Let It Begin Fall Tour coming October and November this year, 2025. We've got some incredible friends out on tour with us. Megan Woods is just amazing. The truth is I am my father's child. And longtime friend David Leonard. I'm telling you, you don't want to miss this night. Go to BigDaddyWeave.com for information and get tickets. We want to see you there.
And welcome back. We lost somebody on this one. Okay. We lost Anthony. All right, that's okay. We lost Anthony. He wants to come back in. We'll try and let him back in when you get a chance. Anthony was riding the bus home. So this is the state of PA football, and I'm going to swap me around right now. And there we go. We're just talking about who's going to do what in the playoffs and reaching towards the playoff stretch, who the contenders are. In 2A, we have the defending state champion Troy Trojans, Farrell, who just went out to Steubenville and played a respectable 3 quarters of football before they got worn down. Schuylkill Haven, who just, I mean, the Rebar kid had 7 touchdowns this weekend. I mean, they're that good. And Southern Columbia is suddenly knocking on the door and playing really good football. They just had a very tight game this past weekend. And then you got Bishop McCourt coming in there. And there's another team we're going to talk about, Williams Valley. So we're going to talk about the top 6 here. But I want to jump right to Williams Valley. Their coach stepped down this past Monday. All kind of parents, all kind of problem with parents and everything like that. Guys, what's going on with parents in football? Are they a problem?
Let the kids play.
Mm-hmm.
Too much.
Yeah, I agree with Jared. I agree with him.
I've seen as an umpire, parents think that that Division I coaches are going to sign their kids to right from the little league field to a Division I scholarship.
Okay, so on this subject, I've interviewed several people. We wrote an article about it, about the coach stepping down, Coach Cities, and I've talked to several people close to the thing. From what I understand, Coach Cities has a temper. He didn't like the people screaming and hollering at him behind him, and that really got to him. But when you're a parent and you know, and this was probably true, when you know the coach has a short temper, what are you doing screaming and hollering at the coach? Just because, I mean, like, it's the same thing. Like, yes, the coach maybe did bad on some things, and some reactions, but I get so tired of hearing parents behind me when I'm on the sideline thinking they know what they're doing and screaming at the coach.
You gotta think the parents, like, they can't step in. If you put any one of those parents in that position, gonna have no clue what they're doing, like at a coaching position. Like, it's just, they're screaming like they know what they're talking about, but they don't. They really, really don't.
I can back up.
Let me jump back for a second.
I got a great story about that if you want to hear it.
All right, give me 30 seconds here, Shane. But first, I want to jump back. We got to jump all the way back to 4A. There's a team that we didn't talk about that I want Matt to say something about, the Shamokin Indians in 4A. I don't know how you let us get away with that, Matt. You got them right in your in your background. The Shamokin, it looks like the Jersey Shore game.
The Jersey
so
Shore.
Just go ahead and throw Jersey or Shamokin out there. What do we got?
Yeah, I mean, Logan Steele running on, he's what makes that team go. Shamokin's going to be fine as long as they get past Jersey Shore in the district final and then don't have that letdown game like they did against Juniata in the state playoffs.
That was a shock.
I think Shamokin is a better team this year than they were last year. I think they got they got another year under their belt. They're obviously that rivalry game with Mount Carmel, while it will be a huge deal this year, I don't think it's going to be as big of a deal as it was last year because everybody in Shamokin knew that was the year they could get them after 27 years. So I think they're a little bit smarter when it comes to week preparation. And in terms of like their weapons, they have a ton of guys that can get it done. Clinton at the running back is an absolute bulldozer. Like I said, Logan Steele's on both sides of the ball is just a nasty player at a high school level, and he's going to be special in college too. And then they got a bunch of supporting kids. Like Shamokin's a team that's going to hit you in the mouth. They got some tough kids on both sides of the ball. They got a big line. Again, it's can you take care of business in your district first, and then week to week in the playoffs for those guys.
I think this is, me personally, I think this is year, and you and I talked about this last year. We said Shamokin was a year away. I think this is the year Shamokin can return to the state title game. How about you, Matt?
Yeah, I was pretty excited about them last year, and mainly because I knew they were losing Chase Pencil and a couple other big parts that they had last year. But after seeing them this year, I think they're a better team this year, and I think they're, like I said, they're a year smarter. Coach Persing has another year under his belt too. I will say this. They get a little gadgety once in a while, and they'll run Logan Steele at like wide receiver, and they'll throw another kid at QB. I don't like it. I'm not the coach. Nobody's got to listen to what I say. But put the ball in your best player's hands and let them go. That's the kind of thing that can get you in trouble, which happened against Jersey Shore where they're trailing at halftime. And if that happens in the playoffs and you get a weather game or you get down 2 or 3 scores in the third, fourth quarter, those gadget plays, you can throw them right out. Go with what they always say, dance with the girl you brought. Just get it done.
All right, that's the Shamokin Indians. Let's get back. Let's do some 2A talk now. We've got Williams Valley, Richland, South Allegheny, Western Beaver, and Minersville down in the bottom 5. Minersville at number 10 is still a good football team. I think 2A might actually be another classification that is probably wide open. Anybody disagree with that?
Yeah, Minersville's, they just got in their own district. And that goes down into 1A as well. There's some tough 1A teams in that district as well that they got to play against. But it's just tough when you got to get past Williams Valley. Maybe that's working itself out now with some issues the past couple of weeks and some injuries as well. But Schuylkill Haven's the big boy on the block in 2A. I think 2A in the state is definitely wide open. Southern's back in that picture again after seeing them this week. I love their defense. I think their offense gets a little bit better each week. But again, the champ for about 10 years now in AA has come out of District 4. So whoever wins District 4 has got to be the favorite.
I agree. I think so. No doubt in my mind there. Western Beaver. Can you imagine? Okay, let's talk on. Let's go on to a tricky subject. Transfers. I say it all the time, and we talk about transfers a lot. But Javen Peel, his parents took him out of Western Beaver. He was a record-breaking quarterback for the Whitfield as a freshman, right, Shane? Like broke all the
something like that. He had a couple records.
Dad took him out. He wasn't getting the offers that dad and mom thought he was going to get. And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to insult anybody. I'm just trying to teach a lesson here. He did have some offers. Whether they were good or committable, it doesn't matter. He was a freshman. They moved him to Kiski Prep, and they reclassified him back down a year so he could gain a year. Can you imagine? So the unfortunate part where I was going with that is I just learned this week that he's no longer enrolled at Kiski Prep. So
he's lost two years of school now because wherever he goes back to, he's not going to be eligible to play unless he goes out of state. And so that's can you imagine how good this Western Beaver team would be if he stayed there, Shane?
Yeah, I mean, I remember seeing them pretty consistently in prior years and seeing the leap forward that program has taken over the last couple of years. And you knew it was coming too with Lincoln Park. I mean, they got the Lincoln Park Co-op. All those kids that are phenomenal basketball players. A lot of them play football for Western Beaver, and that's what's allowed them to have the success that they've had. And I mean, I've seen some of those kids playing receiver. You play quarterback at Western Beaver, you're going to have guys to throw the football to. And yeah, I mean, that's part of the reason why they're sitting at 7-0. And the Peel situation is, it's a tough one. You do feel bad for the kid and kind of some of the things that have happened because he is a good player, and the Beavers got a good team, and there probably is a little bit of regret there.
Yeah, that's what I think too. It's a shame. And then you got Carson City at 5-2 sitting there.
That's a dangerous team. Yeah, that's a dangerous team. They got what? I know they got 3 backs, a quarter. I think, or if you count the quarterback, it's 4. Nobody has run for more than 500 yards. Nobody has run for less than, I think, 300. So it's like 4 different guys. The Shear kid, the one kid's name who I know I'm going to mispronounce. The quarterback, Cole Johnson's taken a step forward this year. And again, they're another one. Haven't lost to a 2A school yet. Lost to a 5A school, lost to a 4A school who they were beating 19-0. They'll get another shot at Punxsy. Just beat Westinghouse, a very good team. Keep your eye on Carson City. They're a dangerous honorable mention for sure at 5-2.
Yeah, there's another team out there that's a dangerous honorable mention team, I think, right now, and they're up in District 2. And I think you know who I'm talking about, Jared.
Yeah, Lakeland Chiefs, and it seems like about every 2 to 3 years they go on a run where they're just a terror and nobody wants to play them. And the only team that they've lost to this year is 6-1 3A Wyoming area, who we know is a good team too. And I looked at kind of like Jake and I were talking a little bit about what would happen if Lakeland wins a district, and I'm going to say it's going to be tough because I think it's going to be them and Riverside at the end with 1 loss, and Lakeland got them, but I don't know that they may get them again. It's hard to say. They could get into a nice little game in a state quarterfinal and play another District 11 team, and you never know what happens. It's just weird stuff, but they're tough. They're a little bit underrated. They put a ton of points on the board, so I'd watch out for them.
Yeah, them Mountain Boys are pretty tough up there too. It's an interesting place to go to if you've never been to Lakeland. You're up there, buddy. You are up on top of the hill.
It's a fantastic place to see a game, let me tell you. Very scenic, beautiful place.
Yeah. Riverside is a team that we dropped out of our rankings, and I don't know why. After Lakeland beat them, we dropped them right out of the rankings. You guys were, the District 2 guys who were saying they're playing terrible football, but all of a sudden they rattled off wins of 49-7, 60-6, 55-7, 58-6. Is this a team that we probably should have ranked, or do we have to wait until they play Lackawanna Trail?
So that's the thing, right? They got Lackawanna Trail the last week of the season, and that's always a slugfest. And we thought, oh, it's going to be a tight game. Riverside's so good last year. Trail smoked them, and it wasn't close, and it was like a bad game. So you really don't know with Riverside. They don't have a lot of kids on their team. They got a low numbers on their squad, so any significant, like one kid gets hurt, could really damage them. Whereas other teams have the numbers and are getting it. So they've looked a bit iffy, but I'll tell you what, since we dropped them out of the rankings, they're on fire. I agree. We got to watch them carefully. We've been watching them close.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I mean, that's it. That might be one of those things that we definitely have to keep our eye on. I don't think Warrior Run has anything, or does Marion Center. They're both feel-good stories. Warrior Run's a nice little program. Beautiful stadium. Their stadium is gorgeous. That's the way that things are going with the big courtyards and everything like that in Mifflin County too. And Seton LaSalle, they're just kind of sliding through their schedule. I don't see like the teams that they're beating are like, it's not a world beating teams that they're winning against. So, but I mean, Western Beaver, South Allegheny. I just don't think anybody's getting past, I don't know. It's weird. I don't know what I was going to say, but it's weird because like District 7 is so strange because in 2A, like they have all the 2A teams and none of them want to win the state title.
I think it's just a case of the rest of the state is just pretty doggone good in 2A. I don't think it's necessarily that they're down. I just think the rest of the state, particularly District 4, has been very strong.
Yeah, I agree.
Billy, you were talking about Warrior Run. It's weird because I was looking at the playoff schedules or how the bracket pans out. Right now, Warrior Run is actually the number 1 seed in the District 4 bracket. For some reason, even though Troy is the number 1 ranked team in the state, I mean for us, but I think they're gonna put up a much better fight if them and Troy meet in the district title this year. They're gonna put up a better fight than they did last year against Troy, but this is still Troy's district though. Troy is still the team to beat.
Yeah, I don't think that fight's going to be much. I don't think it's going to be. It might be better than what that last year was. It's going to be better than last year. Maybe a field goal, maybe. But I mean, this Troy team is still extremely good.
Absolutely. I mean, their only losses to Waverly, and they're.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to. It's either going to the Troy Google Haven matchup is going to be amazing.
100%.
It's going to be incredible. But Southern Columbia, I mean, like Southern Columbia might have something to say about this year because, I mean, Matt, you saw Southern Columbia. What do they have?
Like I said, the defense is tremendous. They really, and they were backed up on their own goal line a couple times and didn't give up any points to Mifflinburg last week. The offense is where it gets a little bit scary for me. And I mean, you're always going to run that offense. So, but I'm not sure they're as explosive as they've been in past years, where if you get down 3 touchdowns that you can score 28 points, to come back and win a game. I think that's maybe where they struggle when you get into like a district final or a state playoff. But defensively, definitely a state championship level defense.
So they don't have the game breaker, but they can stop yours.
Yeah, I mean, they got some nice kids like Braden Andrews got loose last week for a 47-yard touchdown. And they can definitely throw the ball a little bit too. So it's not like the offense is inept. It's just not explosive that they've had in past years. Obviously 7-5 last year, they struggled. But in their state championship years, they always had that explosive play. And sometimes it was with the pass, even though they're primarily a running team during those state championship years. So I think that's maybe where Southern struggles a little bit if they do match up against Troy in a district final, which I think will happen. I would love to see either one of those teams play Schuylkill Haven. It's just that's just a great matchup. Like Haven has a state championship offensive line. Easily. That's one of the biggest lines in 2A in the state, maybe the biggest. I'd love to see those guys match up with Troy or Southern. The only other thing I'll mention is keep your eye on Bishop McCourt. So I'm not sure if it's this year, but Bishop McCourt will be as good as they want to be in football, just like they are in wrestling. So, that's just an advantage that they have as a private school. They don't obviously.
I think this year is the year that people take notice, and I think next year is the year that they show people what they are.
Absolutely. They don't quite have the population to draw on like a Philly City school would, but they definitely are building a program, and they'll do it.
And they're in an area where there are a lot. A lot of athletes go to that school. The Johnstown area is not small. There's a lot of players in the Johnstown area. So, yeah, I saw them last year against Bellefonte. I was really impressed, even though they came out and smacked Bellefonte. I thought Bellefonte was going to win them. And even though they had 4 or 5 losses last year, I was still impressed by McCourt. I thought they played really good football. And I said, and their coach told me, he said, we're a year away. we're a year away. So yeah, I definitely say watch out for McCourt and coming through that District 6. They'll have to play Richland
Cambria
again.
Heights last year, they were undefeated, right? And they only beat McCourt by a touchdown in the playoffs.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah. And, that could happen again this year. You got Richland in there too. So it's going to be an interesting 2A battle. I'm excited. I think of all the classes, 2A is always one of the most exciting battles to watch in 2A. Every year we struggle with it in the rankings, and it's just fun to watch. So that's our 2A breakdown. We're looking for, actually, you know what, before we even get out of here, Farrell.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen them a few times. They are very talented. They say they got, they've had the misfortune, I guess, of playing some of the better teams, outside of them. I mean, Steubenville is Steubenville, one of the top programs really everybody knows Steubenville football. And of course they started out 0-2, losing to Ursuline, who until what happened was one of the top teams in Ohio. And then they lost that second game against Indian Valley, who's on a 20-game win streak and the defending state champions over there. So, and then since then, Steubenville's got it rolling, and Farrell went toe-to-toe with them. I mean, that 40-24 scores a little bit deceiving there. I mean, that was a one-score game for pretty much
it was.
the way. And
Yeah,
Farrell,
I saw the highlights.
Yeah, Farrell was, they got a big line. They got a lot of playmakers, and they're going to cruise through District 10 this year, and then they're going to get. What I assume District 9.
Yeah,
I think.
And I don't know if you guys saw it, but Shane has it in his highlights on Twitter, and if not, you can go watch the State of PA PFN taps into the state. Jewels Johnson had one of the most impressive touchdown runs in that Steubenville game that I've ever seen. I mean, to the left. He got tackled twice and never went down. Back to the right, got tackled twice again. Came back to the left, got tackled another time, and then broke through the line and went 30 yards for a touchdown. It was impressive.
He's the one that
and
really
it made ESPN.
Did it really?
Yeah, ESPN tweeted out your video.
Okay, yeah. Again,
or was it Max Preps?
Max Preps did it, yeah. And
Max
that
Preps tweeted out your video.
And Jules Johnson, he also had a pick 6 in that game. He can return punts and kicks for touchdowns. He's a real deal, and he's the one that makes that offense go. So he's going to be difficult for anybody to stop that lines up against them in the state playoffs. I'll say that.
Yeah, look out for them. All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to finish up our playoff stretch. Fun, exciting show here with the staff of PA football. We're going to talk some 1A football. So we'll be right back after these messages from our sponsors.
Hey everybody, we're Big Daddy Weave. We are so excited to announce the Let It Begin Fall Tour coming October and November this year, 2025. We've got some incredible friends out on tour with us. Megan Woods is just amazing. The truth is I am my father's child. And longtime friend David Leonard. I'm telling you, you don't want to miss this night. Go to BigDaddyWeave.com for information. Get tickets. We want to see you there. There's a river that delivers me to freedom.
Thank you for calling Promises Internet Service. Please remain on the line. Due to high call volume around the world, it's likely you'll be on hold for well over an hour.
Get faster speeds for less money than the national companies at Center Wisp in Central Pennsylvania. Center Wisp is your fast local internet provider. For more information, go to centerwisp.com. That's CENTREWISP.com. Now with faster speeds.
All right, welcome back to the State of PA Football. I'm Billy Swain, the owner of PA Football News, and I got my staff here, some of my favorite guys that I just love to work with. And I hope you enjoyed our show today. PFN taps into the state, our highlight show that we had over 70 games covered from the previous weekend. And remember, if you want to get your players highlight on that show, which is seen all over the country, not to mention it's on TV in Eastern Pennsylvania. If you want to get on there, just use the QR code. All right, welcome back to the State of PA Football. I'm Billy Swain, the owner of PA Football News, and I got my staff here, some of my favorite guys that I just love to work with. And I hope you enjoyed our show today. PFN taps into the state, our highlight show that we had over 70 games covered from the previous weekend. And remember, if you want to get your players highlight on that show, which is seen all over the country, not to mention it's on TV in Eastern Pennsylvania. If you want to get on there, just use the QR code that you see on the screen right now and send us a link to your player's favorite highlight. It doesn't have to be from this week. If you missed one, hey, we'll take it from a few weeks ago and we'll put it into the view from the sidelines. All right, 1A football. Fort Cherry, Clareton, this is exciting. Bishop Guilfoyle and Port Allegheny, and look out for Line Mountain. Fort Cherry, Matt Sig just broke the Whippeal touchdown record. They're destined, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you can get out of your own district, you got to probably play Clareton. It's maybe similar to like a 2A District 4 if you're Troy and Southern Columbia. You got to get out of your district and maybe your state champs if that happens. So Matt Sig, tremendous athlete, obviously going to Penn State. They'll play Bishop Canevin this week, which is a step up in competition compared to what they've played in the past few weeks early in the season. So, it'll be good to kind of ramp up to those Whippeal finals where most likely they're going to see the Clareton Bears. State championship or bust for Wayne Wade.
Yeah. That's an interesting bracket there because waiting in the wings is Port Allegheny, who, of course, advanced through that bracket last year. Still every bit as good as advertised. And then, it's really interesting because Guilfoyle is still playing good football, but they kind of stumbled a little bit there for a week or two when they lost their running back. But they're back to playing good highlight football, and then you got Wilmington in the mix there. This is a strong. Usually 1A is weak once you get down to 6, 7, 8, and 9. It's pretty strong all the way down to 9. I mean, Westinghouse, of course, just took a loss to a team that we didn't know if they were going to win or not, and then Carm City, that was a good win for Carm City, and then. Bishop Canahan started off weak, and they're playing good football at 5-2. I think the weak link here is Myersdale at 10. Once we get past 10, I think you can kind of throw a blanket over Belmont Charter, Greenville, Laurel, Leechburg, and Union AC Valley.
Greenville played tough against Wilmington in the regular season. They'll meet them again probably in the District 10 title. So they're probably the strongest maybe of the honorable mentions, but I don't disagree with a lot of that.
Yeah. Line Mountain is a surprise. I knew they were going to be good this year. I didn't know they were going to be as good as they are, Davin.
Yeah, we mentioned they play a schedule that's that's not even District 4. I mean, they play
the Mid-Penn team.
Yeah, they play the Mid-Penn. So they've beaten a bunch of quality teams. I mean, they played Steel High a couple weeks ago. They beat them.
We lost Davin. All right. So Caden Moore, great athlete for Line Mountain. Some of the teams that Line Mountain has beaten are teams that in 2 or 3 years ago, we did not expect Line Mountain to win those type of games, but now they're winning them all of a sudden. 1A is loaded with undefeated teams right now. But Lion Mountain has beaten the likes of Newport, who's 4-3, Juniata, who's 5-2, Halifax is 4-3. They've beaten them, and they stomped actually Upper Dolphin. And then against Steel High, it was 36-34, but they really dominated that entire game. And now they've beaten, they're coming off a 1-point win over a pretty tough Middletown area team. And I expect them to win out because they've hit the soft part of their schedule. They got Buchanan, Camp Hill, and Susquehanna coming up. But look at these. I mean, look at some of these teams. All these 6-1 teams: Reynolds, Montgomery, Myersdale, Laurel, Lackawanna Trail, Greenville, Clareton, California, the Belmont Charter, Union AC Valley, Port Allegany. I mean, all these teams are right underneath that umbrella, I believe. Am I wrong?
No, definitely not.
No, you're right on the.
Obviously, Fort Cherry and Clareton are the class right now, and Bishop Guilfoyle. But underneath that, it's basically an umbrella.
Going back to our rankings meeting that we had on Sunday, I remember it being we were having a hard time figuring out the bottom part of the rankings because there's so many teams that are quality that easily could fill in the bottom that it was hard for us to pick.
It was a toss-up for a good chunk of them. It was a toss-up because they're all right there with each other.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's tough. I think I do like Clareton and Fort Cherry, Guilfoyle and Lackawanna Trail. Are they heading, or is Lime Mountain? Are they heading on the collision courses, or is Lime Mountain going to get in their way?
I looked at that actually. We like I said, I was talking about a couple of these things with Jake. I think this is the unfortunate year for Lackawanna Trail. I'm not sure that it looks real strong for them. The problem is Marian Catholic's a little hot right now, so they're going to probably have to beat them to get out of that sub-regional. They will get like a District 12 team or whatever like that, and then it's going to be Line Mountain. That'll be Line Mountain. So it's going to be real tough for a team like Trail to advance too far.
Yeah.
And that District 12 team is going to be a problem because, as Billy has mentioned, Philly has a ton of athletes that could cause matchup problems, and Belmont Charter has a lot of athletes. So their athletic ability is going to give teams a hard matchup in the district coming out in the state playoff time.
Talk about Belmont Charter. What do you know about them, Willie? We lost Anthony. We were kind of hoping Anthony was going to be around to give us a little scoop on them. But they I talk about this all the time. Philadelphia has athletes that we're not used to seeing. So Belmont could shake up the 1A rankings.
Exactly. Right now they're sitting at 6-0. They got a big game this Friday afternoon against John Bartram. And then they play Philadelphia Central. And if I'm not mistaken, Belmont has that while they are competing in one of the bigger divisions that they would be eligible for the PIAA for the public league playoffs. If I'm not mistaken, they decided to opt out of the public league playoffs in order to focus on the PIAA playoffs because I believe with the way the public league playoffs is going with the 1A playoffs, it would be a conflict for them. So Belmont has, I believe it was Belmont that has opted out of that and will instead pursue PIAA playoffs.
Shane, that's like the opposite of District 10. They just opt out of the playoffs altogether. These guys are opting out because they want to get to the state championship kind of game, whereas in District 7, they're just like, nah, we're done.
Well, that'd be District 10, yeah, not
or District 10, yeah.
Yeah, it's a bizarre thing, you know.
It is.
Well, we could. That's a whole nother. We could dedicate a whole show to that if we wanted to.
No. Well, we have our own playoff show about District 10. We could have our own show, the drawing show.
Yep.
I'm going to leave that alone. I'll keep moving. Yeah. So Westinghouse again just took a beating, and that's the team that are they like the Denver Broncos or the Buffalo Bills of old of high school football? Now they've been there, lost, and now they're Are they falling back down the hill, Shane? Or
I don't think so. No, I think, they went up to Karn City and, again, Karn City, they kind of took it to them a little bit there, 14-0 at halftime, 28-16 after the third. Westinghouse scores, to make it close at the end. And I know that was competitive throughout, but like I said, Karn City and District 9, they've had some quality wins. I mean, Du Bois did it to General McLean this year, and Karn City just did it again to Westinghouse. So I think that, and again, they're a bigger school. Karn City's AA program. And so Westinghouse, I still think they're gonna play on the eastern side of the bracket, right? So I think they're going to be a threat. I don't know as much about them because it can be difficult sometimes to find info on some of the city teams, but I hope to see them in the future because I know they got a good team.
Yeah, thankfully there's only like 7 city teams in Pittsburgh for you guys out there, because it's no different than trying to find information on city teams in Philadelphia, and there's like 25 of them. And if you want a stat in Philadelphia, good luck if they're not a Catholic League team, because you ain't getting nothing. Again, I will get you rosters, Davin, so don't worry about that. But it's tough. I already have most of them. So, Wilmington.
Yeah, Wilmington's won. Again, they had the injury earlier in the season. First day of training camp to Jamie Miller, one of their best players. But they got the twins of Cal and Cam Kettering stepping up for them. Chase Mitchell-Tree, he did miss the Reynolds game, but he's going to be back this week. They got a big offensive line, and again, I mean, you look at their team. They're going to come out. I think they're going to come out of District 10, and the same week, I think we're going to get Clairton and same weekend, maybe the same day, we're going to get Clairton and Fort Cherry. We should get Port Allegheny and Wilmington again. And I think both of those games are going to be a lot of fun. Wilmington, I think, is going to have the bigger line this year. They got some nice backs. We know what Bliss can do with the Gators. And yeah, it's going to be interesting. And let's not forget, too, in light of what we talked about with Westinghouse, Wilmington is going to play Karn City the final week of the season. I'm going to be at that one. So I look forward to that as well, to see how the Hounds do against them. But again, Wilmington, they've won the games they were supposed to. They almost beat Hubbard, which I believe would be a 4A school in PA. So they went toe-to-toe with them. And then Farrell is Farrell. So keep an eye on the Hounds. They that wing T, it's not easy to defend that. So
they run it very well. They run it really good. Is Montgomery a team we need to worry about, Davin, or is this just a feel-good story for them for this year?
This is really just a feel-good story for them. I mean, they've gotten some wins. I mean, they got that big win a couple weeks ago over Muncie. They got blown out by them last year, but now they came back and they're not gonna compete with Lion Mountain in the district playoffs, and that's the only team in the four teams that will make the playoffs for 1A. So it is really a feel good story, but
I wish this was 3 years ago, Matt. I wish it was 3 years ago when Muncie and all those guys came out and they were strong, and you throw throw this Lion Mountain team in that mix. That would have been a great playoff year. With Warrior Run was really good that year. Hughesville was good that year. Muncie was good that year. And then if you could have thrown this Lion Mountain team in there, that would have been exciting to see, because they're coming up from the mid-bed and nobody knows what they have. So it's going to be interesting to see how far Lion Mountain can advance. I think Lion Mountain is a little bit better than Lackawanna Trail. I'm still going to say this. I've said it before. Lion Mountain lost their best football player to Shamokin this year, the linebacker, and they're still at the top of the heap. And, that's another one of those imagine if kind of things. His parents had to move, and so that's where they ended up. And in case you're wondering out there somewhere, no, Shamokin is not just a drive from Lion Mountain. It's not close.
Nope.
So, but that's our 1A breakdown. Any other surprises you guys think we should talk about? I mean, we've got Leechburg in there, who I don't think is going to pull any surprises. Union AC Valley, I think 7-0. They're a feel good story, but I don't think they're a contender for to get through the playoffs. But that's the 1A thing, and so that's our playoff stretch run show, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope we filled you in on some of the teams from around the state of Pennsylvania. I hope you enjoyed our show. Next week, we're coming to you live from where, Jared?
Nano's Pizza in Moosic, Pennsylvania. Great location right above the Scranton-Wilkes-Barre Rail Riders Stadium. Great view. Going to be a great time.
Going to be awesome. I'm excited for that. And we'll let you know what the teams are that are going to show up later on this week. And for the rest of my staff over here, I'm Billy Swain. This was the State of PA Football. We will see you next week in Nano's Pizza. Enjoy some football, get out, and have some fun.
At PAFootballNews.com, we've got you covered. If you're looking for the best coverage of high school football in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, check out PAFootballNews.com. From schedules to rankings, game coverage to Friday night scoreboard, live streams, and more, PA Football News is the one-stop shop for everything high school football in Pennsylvania. Follow us on Twitter at PAFootballNews and visit us at PAFootballNews.com. We got you covered.
PAFootballnews.com and CWTAP. Tap into the state. PAFootballnews.com and CWTAP presents their weekly highlight show, bringing you, the viewers and fans, the best of the weekend's high school and college football action and interviews from all over the state of Pennsylvania. And introducing The View from the Sidelines, where you, the fans, can send in clips of your favorite team or athletes. Simply email your links or clips to Billy at PAFootballnews.com with the subject line, The View, by Sunday morning, and we'll try and present them on the program. PAFootballnews.com and CWTAP Tap into the State. Our weekly highlight show every Tuesday at 9 on CWTAP and the next morning streaming on PFN. We got you covered.